Wow, look. Everybody came. You must have heard there's something special going to happen tonight. And it really will. I'd like to just, before we start our program tonight, I'd like to acknowledge two, well, one is a group of people and one is a person who's here, one of our other guests who came in. Finally, after a lot of airplane delays and we were biting our nails, we were a little nervous. We didn't know if he was going to make it. But Michael T. Williamson, are you here in the audience? Hey, there he is. Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
First of all, my wife and I love her.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I'm just telling you, we love her. And tomorrow, come see Forrest Gump. Come hang out afterwards. I'm going to answer questions.
Yeah. Thank you. And I was afraid he was going to be too shy. I'm so glad he's here, and his wife. Lovely, lovely couple. And I also want, this is just a personal thing. You know, here at this film festival, we really do try to celebrate community, and we celebrate people meeting each other. I think over the years, you've met some people who met here, they got married. There was someone who met here and had a baby. David Poland. Oops, I forgot. I wasn't going to say his name. But their son is a cute little boy. They're still together, great couple. And some people have just formed friendships, and they reach out to each other before they come. And so they said that they liked the reserved seating that we went to. You know, we had to, oh, you do? Oh. Thank you. Because I hated when we couldn't let you in right away, and if there was rain or a little cold, I didn't want you standing out there. And after the pandemic, we had to change things anyway. So people say they like, you can reserve seats and ask that the seat next to you is empty or whatever, so that you can spread out a little more. Before, we were all packed in like sardines, and that was before the pandemic. But now we still can be in communion with each other and have a little elbow room. So, the other thing that we haven't done, please give a hand for these volunteers who help seat us and do everything. Thank you. And at some point, I want you to meet our backstage crew too, because they really help keep things going. I'm so grateful. Gratitude is a big thing in my life, and probably even more so since the pandemic, because I know there have been so many people struggling with issues about anxiety and isolation, you know, economic fears, so many things. So when we're here, I like us to raise the vibration of everything, of the consciousness, of compassion, of kindness, of everything, just all the good things. Everything. Don't let me go all preacher on you, but I'm telling you, that's just the way I feel, and that's the way Roger wanted this festival to be, and I thank you. You don't know how grateful I am. He's been gone 10 years, but I know, I can tell you, I have some stories. He's around. I have some stories. I'll write them in a book, but he's here, and he knows, not just he knows, we know, and I want the world to know that we don't have to be all divided. Somebody said on the stage last night a very profound thing about, do we have to, in the American folk, do we have to have a tragedy before people start doing these acts of kindness again? And my answer is no, we don't have to. We can start by each taking the responsibility to go out in the world to do something. Show up as your best self. Show up as your higher self. Sometimes we are low and we're depressed or we're whatever, but find a friend, reach out to somebody who you know who may be struggling, who may need your help, because we actually can raise the consciousness. We actually can raise the happiness. We actually can strive for what Roger and I used to call untamed joy. That's what I want, untamed joy. Which brings me to a group of people in my life that I've known for over 50 years. These are people that I went to high school with. We were the class of 1969, so do the math, that's how old we are. But I didn't see them for 40 years, and after 40 years we got together, and we've been together since that time because I learned. When we were in high school, I was always either the vice president or the president or vice president of the honor society, of the Spanish club, the French club, the geometry club, the cheerleading, everything. And the other officers of the class, we all got together, and when we get together, it seems like we almost reconnect doing those things. And we're called the Cougars. But as I told you, we're not Cougars like the old women looking for young men. We're called Cougars because that was the mascot of our high school. And some of my Cougar ladies came to see us. Will you please stand up, Cougars? Thank you. And I'm going to tell you why they're in my life. Because I found when we got together for a particular reason. It was a high school reunion, and we said, okay, but let's have a reason. Let's have a really reason. I can go to a park or a picnic or do whatever people do for reunions. We went back to the high school on the west side of Chicago, which is when you read about Chicago, people say, South Side's bad, West Side's bad. We all came from the west side of Chicago. These ladies are some of the most philanthropic women, but some of the kindest people I ever met. They are so compassionate. They're always looking out to do things for other people. When somebody's down, somebody will text each other, hey, can you help? This person needs help. Can you do this? That's the kind of thing that gives me hope in the world. And that's why I love you, my Cougars. Thank you for coming and supporting me at the festival. And I think, I never know when I'm going to have one of these things where I have to talk like this. But I think I'm influenced by what we're going to see tonight. Frank Oz and Derek Delgadio, thank you so much for bringing this film to Ebertfest Film Festival. And it's one that I know Roger would have really, really wanted to see. I'm not going to say too much because they don't want me to tell you too much about it, but I'm going to just tell you a little bit about the director, the person in the film. Let me tell you about him first. Derek Delgadio. He's an author, director, sleight of hand artist. He created the award-winning theater, show, and film in and of itself that we're seeing tonight. He wrote an acclaimed book that somebody showed me today called A Moral Man. I want to get that book. He served as the artist in residence for Walt Disney Imagineering, and he co-founded the performance art collective, A Bandit. He is currently an affiliate scholar at Georgetown University and co-conspirator at Deceptive Practices, a creative firm that provides arcane knowledge on a need-to-know basis. And then the person that you've probably all been reading about and hearing about on the radio, and Frank Oz. I'm just going to read a little bit of the bio because we know Frank, he's a 4-time Emmy winner, a recipient of the Art Directors Guild Award, the Comedy Award, the Saturn Lifetime Achievement Award, the George Foster Peabody Award, and many others. He's performed with the Muppets and on the Star Wars films, and he's directed over a dozen feature films. There's a lot more that I can say about him, but I just want to read this. I want to read what our writer at RogerEbert.com, Matt Fagerholm, said about Frank Oz. He said, Frank Oz is not just a Muppeteer. He is an actor, a director, a humanist, a father, a husband, a rebel, one of our finest entertainers, and in my opinion, an artist of the highest order. That's why he's here. After the film, we're going to have Derek DelGaudio and Frank Oz come up on stage, but we're also going to have two other of their producers are here, and I want them to just stand now. Not Frank and Derek, but Vanessa Lauren and Jake Friedman. Will you please stand? And like I said, I'm being, I think influenced by that because I've seen it and I can tell my body, I get, all these visceral things when something is really, and I've learned to kind of read what's happening in my body when it happens. And so I asked someone else to sort of introduce the film tonight. Someone who's also a producer of the film, who I was surprised to learn they were producers on this film. And it's somebody you know and you see all the time, and I don't really connect him with being with this film, but he sent something special for us. Let's watch and see. James Bond, please, the curtains and everything. And we'll see you after the film.